All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Coffee Q&A, your daily dose of Coffee Q&A here on the onocoffee channel. I'm Jay, your host, and today we're going to be talking about Turkish Delights, stuff from Turkey, delightful Lokums from Turkey, and that's what we're talking about. But so if you're just joining for the very first time, this is the Coffee Q&A. We do this live stream most Monday through Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern time here, where we talk about coffee and things related to coffee, and sometimes maybe not even anything about coffee. So leave your comments down below. Leave your comments to the here or down below. And yeah, what's going on? Power Plant, good morning to you. How are you doing? How are things in in Japan? Hope things are doing well. All right, so today we're going to be talking about Turkish Delights. Turkish Delights are what's called Lokums, which is a Turkish thing, right? Well, it's popular in Turkey, and that's where I first learned about it. Was during my trip to Istanbul back in 2017. We're there, we're hanging out, we're going around, and they had these candies. I was like, "What is this candy?" And it's kind of this chewy jelly type of candy, and you're like, "Man, it's so good." I thought they were amazing. But there's several different types. Right? There's the type that you have like on the streets and in the markets of Istanbul. Most of those, a lot of the ones that I had were made by a company called Hasi Bekir. I think that's how they pronounce it. And delicious stuff. And and basically how it works is that you've got these, and let me show you first of all. Mom, good morning to you. It's very cold now, but not freezing. We are actually at freezing temperatures here in Maryland. It's like -1 Celsius here. Or at least it was last night. Andrew, good to see you. Kent, how are you doing? All right, so this is, let me zoom in a bit. These are some Turkish Delights that I picked up at a market. I was in Philadelphia on Friday, and I drove by this place that's called Asr Market. And Asr is, ASR, is one of the prayer times in the Muslim world. I don't know why they call it. I don't even know what it means otherwise, but I just know it's one of the afternoon prayers. Asr, is that right? Okay. Mom, is that right? Afternoon prayer. Anyway, it's called Asr Market, and I saw that, and I was like, I'm going to go check it out. Expecting to go to Middle Eastern market, and I was like, really, what I'm looking for is tea. There's a particular tea called Abu Jabal that is unavailable outside of Saudi Arabia. And I'm like, always trying to hope that I can find it. Worst comes to worst, the next time I go somewhere in the world, I'm going to call up my friends in Saudi and be like, hey, are you coming to this event? Can you bring me some of this tea? Because I have run out. And so I'm at this market. I expect to be a Middle Eastern market. But I'm looking around. There's weird foods. I'm like, what is this weird food? What is this very Eastern European food? And then I realized this is not a Middle Eastern Muslim market. It's a halal market. And it's a Muslim, based market, but it's not Middle Eastern. It's actually Uzbek. And I was like, oh, interesting. So they have these hot lines of food. Man, it looked really good. I was like, oh, man, I wish I didn't already have lunch because I would totally torn it up. But then I saw these, right? And these are, they had a whole rack of these. These are the different Turkish Delights. I only got a couple because, I know how I am. I will go ballistic on these, and that will be very, I'm supposed to go see my PCP today, and that's not a good thing. Okay, so let's say what's on here. So we've got some sliced pistachios. That's nougat, right? And then in here, this gelatin thing has, I think, are walnuts. I haven't eaten any of these. I totally saved it just for today. I think there's walnuts. It could be pistachios. It could be cashews. Who knows? We're going to find out. But what's surrounding it is a layer of gelatin. And the gelatin you make by taking sugar. Basically, you take sugar and you take cornstarch and cream of tartar, and you cook it for a long time. And it creates this really chewy gelatin type of character. Actually, this whole idea of the Turkish Delight is the precursor and inspiration for the American-style jelly bean. So it kind of derives from this. And the word, it's called Turkish Delight, but in Turkey they call it Lokum. And the Lokum is actually lokat, is a derivative from Arabic, which means morsel or mouthful, right? So just small bites for you. So this one has the nougat with the sliced pistachios, maybe pistachios on the inside, and this filling. And this filling typically could be, it's red, so they food color it, and then maybe it smells like some kind of berry. Maybe it's raspberry. Who knows? It could be rose water, for all we know. Middle Easterners love rose water. I don't quite get it, but I know they love it. They love it. And then this other one, I think it's nougat also, but with coconut. I only got one because I was scared. And then a very similar filling. And to me, that looks like walnuts in there. But I love the texture. And like I said, this is the style that I started eating when I was in Istanbul. But if you go to the stores in most places here in the United States, they have Turkish Delights. And basically, they're just the gelatin cubed with different flavors rolled in like, cinnamon, in a mixture of powdered sugar and cornstarch because it's very, very sticky. I don't like those as well because, I like textural juxtaposition. So I like the textures. Here we've got nougat and the gel and the nuts all playing together. So we're going to try that. But I thought, we need to have coffee. The afternoon prayer is awesome. I thought it was afternoon. I couldn't remember. It's been a bit. It's been a bit of time. Paraplan says The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is how most people first heard of Turkish Delight. I read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe when I was in 7th grade. But I don't remember that being part of it. I'm just old. I'm just old and a long time ago. But I read about that also when I was reading up on this. I was like, I've totally forgot about that. All my Greek and Armenian friends did not like anything Turkish. Well, there's a good reason for that. But I understand that this style of dessert called lokum or lokat, is popular amongst the Armenians. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I have a friend of mine who's an Armenian. I did a video with him about the Armenian style coffee, and it was really, I didn't really know much about it until I started to make that video series. And I was, his family came from one of his grandfather was at the battlefront against the Ottoman Turks, and really fascinating story. And man, just a history of genocide. It's just terrible. Armenians faced terrible genocide by the Ottoman Turks. So there's totally understandable why there's still some animosity today. Like, because I remember when we were shooting the video and I hadn't done the research yet, and I was like, so what's the difference between this and Turkish coffee? And you could tell it's a little bit irritated because he was like, well, they persecuted our people for generations. So I get it. Tarpan says, best black tea I've ever had was at the Tet Tariq stall in Singapore. Tariq is the puff style where they pour the milk tea from one pitcher to, yes, like a toast box. It's like my only real reference. So I had a toast box many years ago, and then we had something similar while I was in Malaysia, in KL. Naomi, so that's what's going on, Naomi. How are things in the Bama? See, I remember this time. PowerPlant says, if only floral flavor I like is jasmine, I can eat the other florals but do not love. Yeah, I'm kind of like Filipinos, we love pandan. I grew up here, so I'm kind of like, pandan is okay. Andrew says, I love the rose water sauce they put on Lebanese dessert. I sometimes like it, and then sometimes I don't. Okay, I don't know what it is. You know what I want to check out? I want to check out again. I went there quite a couple years back. There's a place in Alexandria called Marib. It's a Yemeni restaurant. I had like a lunch there one day. Man, so good. But I want to go back with a whole bunch of people and then do like a bigger, like kibsa kind of meal. Like my friend, she always makes fun of me for the kibsa. She's always like, you like kibsa too much. Every time I'm in Riyadh, she's like, you had kibsa again today, right? Yes. Anyway, so We're gonna make the coffee, even though I think I would prefer this with tea. Like I don't think I would like it with coffee as much, but we're gonna find out. But I've been thinking about the Turkish or Armenian style coffee, the one we use, the Çezve ibrik. And this one is the type from STC, especially Turkish coffee. This is a buddy of mine, Turgay Ildilzi, and he is the world Çezve champion. He's actually based down in New Orleans, Louisiana, and he's Turkish, and this is made in Turkey, this particular one. And really, really a nice quality. If you want to buy one, this is the one you buy. It's copper, really nice tin lining, really well balanced, very heavy weight. And we're going to go kind of over like some of the techniques I learned from him that are very similar to how you may have experienced it in the past. But if you're looking for a nice quality one, this is really nice. STC, especially Turkish coffee. They are in New Orleans, Louisiana, and you can order them online. I think they're like 60, 70, 80 bucks for this one thing. Really nice. And then you've got, they have these stands. So if you want to use a stand, so you could use a stand and a burner, right? And you could, this one's the more safety one, right? There's a shorter one that doesn't have this cage, so you could bump it off. But this one you could, and it's not coming out. So that's kind of nice. And then has open flame. But we're not going to use this today, right? We use this a lot, but we're not going to use this today because we're going to go with this, the old school sand heaters, right? So if you go to the Middle East, you'll see the Turkish guys or the guys making the çezves, and they have these sand burners. And it's in a sand. It's in a big pot of sand. You're like, what's going on with the sand, right? And it's heated. And actually, I learned later it's zone heated. It's not like all the sand is the same temperature. It's like hot in the spot and then cooler on the other side. So we're going to recreate that. Now they do sell these like units that are like 600 bucks that are like that. And I almost bought one a while back. And during my travels, they're a lot cheaper when you go to like, you're like in Istanbul or something, or you're like somewhere in the Middle East. You're like, well, that's pretty cheap. It's like 100 bucks. But of course, it's all 240 volts. You're like, well, I don't have the 240 necessarily for that. So forget it. But I've been thinking about it, and I thought about this like maybe 2 years ago, and never tried it. And it must be almost probably now maybe 4 years ago, because I've had this bucket of sand that I separated and put away. You know, this is basically play sand that you buy at Home Depot, but I had a bag of it, and I had like half a bag left, and I was like, I need to harvest that. So I took it, put it in a bucket, and I was like, because, you know, the play sand is really wet, so I needed it to be dry. So I kind of dried it. I put it in a big like concrete mixing trough, and then I let it dry out, and I put it back in the bucket. And it's been sitting around for the last like 40 years, and I'm still not doing it. But today we're gonna do it. So I'm gonna do it kind of, because I've been trying to think, how do you build one? How do you build one? I kind of realized that, oh, you know what? I'm gonna use a hotel pan. This is a hotel pan. This is what we call a half sheet hotel pan. And you've undoubtedly seen this. Now, this particular one is one of my favorites. This is by a company called Volrath. This is their Super Pan 2. This is the older version, right? This pan is probably 20 years old. Super Pan 2. You can't really see it, can you? There's Super Pan 2. The new ones are better. Like what I like about the Volraths is that, see here at the corners, they've got these imprints here. This makes it so much more rigid. So basically, why they want to make it rigid is that it's sitting in a bun, right, in a bain marie, or a wet hot bath, or on a line. And you know, when you got to take it out, you know, these will bend if you know through work. But by having this stamping, it reinforces it. And when you want to run in with your tongs and lift it out, you can, whereas the other ones can be a little bit wonky. Now they haven't, well, after this, they had a newer one. So you see this like bump here. Now with the newer ones were sloped. I don't know if they have a fourth version now, but they're sloped. So you could actually pull on it, and that sloping would lift the edge up so you could pull it out of the. This is the technology in food service that I get so excited about. Plus, the nice thing about these Volraths, they're nice and thick, right? Like you can buy cheaper ones, and they're really cheap, and they're flimsy, and they're thin. You want to have a nice thick one, right? Like literally, I've had this for 25 years. probably 26 years. I probably got this in 99 or 2000. And we use this at the Shave Ice Company. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to use this on a burner. And then for the burner, I have this Waring. I'm going to zoom out. This Waring Pro induction top. Now, we could use the butane burner, but I kind of thought, let's do the induction because this is how I would do it I was going to do this at the Cafe du Spro, right? So we've got that all set up now, and we're just going to make sure that turns on. Okay, good, that turns on. Now, one of the things about this induction, right? So when you buy an induction burner, you know, this one probably at the time when we got it was probably $200. You can get them for like $100. You get it for $75 at IKEA. They have an IKEA version that's $75. Just saw it the other day because I'm thinking about using one for a project. This one is similar to that. It's a smaller one. Now, you look at a lot of these commercial ones, and they're all going to be rated right around 1,800 watts. Even my big CookTech awesomeness is 1,800 watts. Mainly that's because you can't really, like, you could, 1,800 watts is 15 amps. You could push it to 2,200 watts and get like 18 amps out of it, but now you're like, then you really need to have a 20 amp plug or a 20 amp outlet. So it limits the use. So 1,800 watts. But the thing is, it may be 1,800 watts, but where the differences is, right? Like this one, I don't have the other. No, the other one's at the shop. So this one is relatively thin. You've got ones like the ones that I have from like CookTech, and if you buy the Freak, the Control Freak from PolyScience, they're all about that tall, right? That height, because the internals are different. So both are 1,800 watts. You think, oh, it's going to be the same. Performance is not going to be the same. Where you're going to have a big difference with the cheaper ones is the coils, right? So the coils under here are what's going to determine how well it is. So let's say on the CookTech or on the PolyScience, that coil will be all the way out here, right? The coils will be under here. And how it works, the coils create a magnetic field that excites the molecules inside the ferrous metals, and that's what generates the heat that cooks the food. So, but on the cheaper ones, I remember, maybe this is the one, it's only like that big, right? It's really tiny, which is, for this particular application, that should be all right, because we only want a really teeny tiny hot area, and we want the sand to be dispersed. Now, we could be at a problem. I don't know how long it's going to take to heat this up. But here's our thing. And now I'm going to take our sand. The sand looks kind of dirty. It has been sitting in the garage for the last couple of years. Okay, so now we've got this. Let's turn this mother on. We're going to crank it all the way up. That's probably too much sand. That's too much sand. Okay, got rid of some of the sand. Oh, the problem is, see here the beeping? This means that there's not enough, it's going to turn off in a moment. There's not enough ferrous metal in this to, it's going to turn off in a moment. Yeah, see how it's not, oh yeah. Huh. Ouch, son of a gun. I don't know why it's beeping, but it's certainly getting hot. All right, we'll see. Oh yeah, wow, man. It has, the sand is already warm. Whoa. Whoa, yes. This is why you use induction, because the transference of heat is very efficient. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, man, that's getting nice and warm. Holy smokes. It's like the sands of Saudi Arabia here. Oh, yeah, baby. Look at that. That is something else. Okay, so we've got our sand heating. And let's do a test. I'm going to take our chesve. I'm going to put a little water in it. I've already got the water preheated. And let's see about getting it to boil. I'm going to put it right here in the center. Zoom in some of this sucker. Naomi says, continue with the unpacking today. Thank you for, of course, anytime. Naomi says, I was never a big black tea lover, but Turkish tea is on another level. I was only 9 when I lived there, but loved their tea. Oh, our landlady would invite me. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Power Plant says, florals which are derived from flowers like elderflower, osmanthus, lavender, rose, jasmine, chamomile. And the Golden Balance YouTube channel has a great little video on Yemeni coffee chain in Michigan. All their coffee is imported from Yemen. Oh, nice. And we are making Turkish coffee. There's a push from aficionados that call tea not derived from Camellia sinensis tisane. Yes, I've seen that. Andrew says there are many ways to do most things, but some thought and good design makes a difference in efficiency and enjoyment. Absolutely. All right. So how are we doing here? Is it getting hotter yet? Go to this. Oh, see how it just turned off. Right? It just turned off because there's not enough ferrous metal, or it's not just not thick enough with this hotel pan in order to keep it. So it senses something here. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go to our secondary solution, which is our butane burner. So here you can see the butane. I'm going to kick it on. All right. So we'll put this over here. Now this is how you do it. They do it in the Middle East and in Turkey. I think a lot of places will do it with real flame. So we're going to try it with real flame. I guess it's okay to put it down further, but I feel like if I put it down really hard onto the bottom of this, it's going to be cheating. Right? And so what they do when this is all properly done, right? They will the e-brick people will move the e-brick closer to the center where it's heavier with flame, and then they'll pull it back as they're cooking. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating thing. Okay, so what we need to do also is we're going to get some coffee together. Let's see if it boils. Is it going to boil? Come on, boil. Boil, baby, boil. I'm seeing some steam starting to come from the water, but I'm not sure if that's the steam based on, what it was versus, now. Meaning, you know what I'm saying, right? Of course, we have to heat the sand, so I wonder how much heating of the sand we need to do. I don't know how efficient that is, right? So I mean, that's really what I'm trying to speak English for. Meanwhile, we need to get some coffee. We're going to use 7 grams of coffee, and we're going to do that by grinding. And for Turkish coffee, you need really fine grind. So we're going to use the espresso grinder to grind our coffee. We're going to grind 7 grams. So, can we even see that anymore? No, we can't really see that. Let's go wider. Oops, not that way. All right, so here we go. We got 7 grams. I'm going to turn this on. Our fellow Tally Pro. Okay, now I'm going to grind coffee. See what we got. Oops, wrong one. 15 grams. Okay, that's too much. 10.3 grams. Yeah, that's good. 9.8 is good enough. All right, what's going on here? All right, so the sand is burning. Look at that, the sand is getting brown. Now, you might be wondering what's going on, and I have to say that I wonder what's going on, too, because I've never done this, so I'm kind of like, Now that I've gotten to this point, it's starting to get more reaction. However, I wasn't expecting the sand to get brown. Well, they put some coffee in there. Great. Huh. The sand is brown. All right, now we're getting some boiling of the water. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this. I'm going to add more water to it. So now we know at least that it is getting hot. Oh, I think I probably should put too much water there. Okay, so actually, I think what we need to do is we're going to start with new water. I'm going to take the coffee and I'm going to put it in the e-brick. And now we're going to put the water. Wow, it's getting brown. Like the sand is brown. Like I just didn't expect that. Okay, so here's what we're doing. We put the water in. Now we're going to let it boil. And once we get it to a boil, we're going to be done. That was the thing that Tur guy was like, oh, this is my style. That, you know, people do it 3 times. They'll put it on the flame. They'll pull it off the flame. This one, we're just going to bring it to a boil and then stop. And I was like, oh. Any idea why the sand is turning brown? The sand is actually cooking. I'm at a conundrum for this. I didn't expect that to happen. Maybe there's some kind of additives in it that are like, you know, leaching out fumes that are going to kill me. Pepperine says, yes, sometimes more expensive is better. And I like conduction a lot. My last apartment came with induction cooktop. That was great to use. I agree. I really like that. Russell says, I was in Istanbul last month. I bought a Chesma there and purchased a small sandbox brewer from Amazon. Problems watching the coffee to make sure the coffee doesn't boil over. Yeah, so, you know, according to this style, right, like if you go to the Middle East or to Turkey, you see them doing this thing where they are doing this back and forth, back and forth. Turk guy was really simple. He was like, okay, once it starts to boil, you're done. All right, so now we're almost there. We're almost there. Oh, there it is. There it is. It's starting to boil. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, we're done now. We're done now. We're done. I can turn the heat off. Turn the heat down. And now I need a cup. Aha! Haha. That I don't have ready. We're going to use this cup here, this Visions espresso cup. Oh, shoot. Okay, there we go. There it is. There it is. I'm going to turn that off. Oops. Huh. It turned brown. I'm totally surprised by this. All right, so we've got our Turkish coffee. Let me reset this because Okay, now we've got our coffee. We've got our Lokum. Power Plants wants to know, this is the sandbox big enough to have cool spots and hot spots? And it does. Okay, great, Russell. Problem is patience. It's watching water boil. So I look away from it and I have, yes, you have to be careful with that. That is one thing. And I've never seen sand burn either. It's very strange. Did you have this issue too, Russell, when you put in the sand in there? Did it change color like this? Because I'm very surprised. Now, one of the things with the Turkish coffee, you do have to, because as you know, we boiled it, like brought it to a boil. You want to let it cool down a little bit because, man, you just don't want to hurt yourself. So, but I think that's cool enough. Or we'll find out the hard way. That's the one thing about Turkish style coffee, right? It's always very rich. There's a viscosity, maybe what could even be termed as a grittiness, but I wouldn't say it's a grit. It's more like a powdery coating. Like if you ever imagine like taking a little teaspoon, or not even a teaspoon, just a little bit out of, like, let's say Hershey's cocoa powder, and put that in your mouth. If you've ever done that, that's kind of the texture that I'm getting on this coffee, because there's a lot of sediment. Of course, it's full sediment and it's been cooking that whole time. But really, if you think about it, I think if we look at the timestamps, we're probably talking 3-4 minutes for this to happen. So we're still within the ideal kind of extraction time, but now it just continues because it's totally, like, the crowns are still in here. That's not bad. That's pretty good. This is the espresso that we've been using. You can see that there. Russell says his sand did not change color. Maybe that's the problem. I've got like evil sand with all kinds of like particulate matter, and I should probably get a different sand. Maybe the sand is reacting with metal, says no. It could be, or just leaching out into the atmosphere toxins. Power Plant says in the West, Cowboys made a very similar coffee, very strong. Yes, in that you know who's good, who I'd like to watch about for those kind of things is Cowboy Kent Rollins. He's kind of funny. I kind of like his stuff. I have to add sugar to Turkish coffee to make it drinkable, says Naomi. I mean, I hear you. This is, but you know, I think I really think that if you get nice quality coffee, it doesn't beg for milk and sugar. Like, I really believe that a lot of our drive towards milk and sugar in the United States is because a lot of the coffee that's available to most people in the grocery stores and the venues that most people will source coffee, it's pretty bad. Like, it's terrible. Like, it's really, like, that Folgers is a brutal coffee. Like, it's terrible. Oh, man. Naomi says, in Maryland, I went to a Turkish family-owned salon, and they would serve it to me with sugar, but they also use an electric. Oh, yeah, they have those cool brewers. Now, there's so many cool brewers out there. Like, when you go to the Middle East, they have so many different ways of making coffee that we don't see here. Like, they even have, like, in Saudi Arabia, they have this thing called the electric dalla. And I'm always like, oh, I want to get one of those. All right, so we have the episode's really about this, so we really should try this. So this is the Turkish Delight. Let's take one off here. Now that I think about it, I really should have bought more, but then I wasn't sure if I would like these, right? Like I told you, I don't like the ones that you get in the box. These look like the style of Turkish Delights that I like, but I wasn't sure. So, you know, I figured next time I go to Philly, I'll just stop by and then buy more. So this one has the gelatin, the cornstarch-based and sugar-based gelatin wrapped in nougat with pistachios. Oh. Pomegranate. That's what that is. Oh, yeah. It's got the right amount of chew. Oh, I should have bought more. Now he says, I'm not able to drink up straight up espresso either, though. But I do think that I think that a lot of that is maybe conditioning. Maybe that's the best word. Because, I grew up hating coffee, right? Like I grew up here in Baltimore and I really hated coffee. Everybody, my father and all my foster grandmother, everybody that drank coffee, I just hated it. They would drink Taster's Choice with, coffee mate and sugar. Man, it was, actually I didn't mind the coffee mate, but everything else was just brutal. Like it's just brutal coffee, right? I didn't learn to drink coffee until I got into business. And then it was about like, then I was about like, I want to try the coffee clean. And I really tend to drink it that way now. And there are certain contextual situations where I won't. Like, for example, if I go to this one particular diner and I get like, let's say pancakes and grits and eggs and ham, and then I get their coffee, I'll usually put cream and sugar in it. Even today, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna house this thing. All right, that's a nice combination. I wasn't sure. I thought tea would be better, and that's because I'm a tea person first. But that's pretty good. I'm liking it more and more. And I'm also now at a point where I'm like, I wish there was more in the cup because. Now let's try this one that has I believe it's coconut. And historically, I'm not a big fan of dry coconut. Oh, probably not bad. Now I'm getting the coconut. Coconut wasn't very forward. It's a desiccated coconut, so it's kind of like drier and more benign. Like the coconut flavor doesn't come through till a little bit later. PowerPoint says that cheapo coffee is best for red eye. I'm going to presume the red eye gravy is you put the instant coffee in a gravy. Is that correct? Gotta go to Angelo's in Philly for the best steak sandwiches and pizza. Very rare for the. I remember you saying that the other day. I will have to give that a try. Okay, so here's the thing with Turkish coffee, right? It is getting down to the bottom. You don't want to drink it to the last drop because all the sediment now has come to the bottom. Oh yeah, like right there. I don't know if you can see that, but I guess I can't turn it over enough. Yeah, so, yeah, now that's starting to do. Now, what we need is a plate. This is something that I was taught while I was in Istanbul. I need a plate, not a mug. So you take your, and then normally they come together, but you take your thing and put this on top. And then we pull it. Is that right? And this is supposed to tell your fortune. Looks rather muddy and unclear, which sounds like a proper fortune. More like, nope, that doesn't help. Something like that. Okay, so it's not, it's pistachios on the inside also. Okay, these are good, man. These are good. Is there more here? There's more here. All right, that's pretty good. Naomi says, I grew up with parents who drank coffee all day, and my dad loved Taster's Choice. I mean, I think they all love Taster's Choice of that generation. With coffee made powder, creamer, and sugar. And he would let me taste it. My mom drank it black. Oh, your mom was hardcore. Taster's Choice black is brutal. I can't imagine. I haven't even tried it. Some Americans came to visit and went to a nice omakase experience and hated it. Did you get to ask them what they hated about it? So 35,000 yen. So almost about $200, right? $210. What made me love coffee, says Naomi, is the sweet canned coffee from the Japanese vending machines. I gotcha. As a child, I would buy it on the sly. They didn't know anything about the real Japanese sushi. Sad. They hated the ikura, uni, and ankimo. I don't think I've had that. Now you got a coffee and ink, but well, I guess to their defense, most people in America, they don't eat the nigiri. They just eat the rolls. And I'm like, I remember one of my friends, and she was like, let's go get sushi. And I was like, all right. So we went to the sushi place, and she was like, I'll order. I was like, all right. She was all these rolls, and rolls I would never order. Like, I'm just like, oh my God. But I'm going to eat it. And I ate it. It was good. But I'd much rather have nigiri. Just give me a bunch of nigiri. I'll be very happy. I don't need to have all the rolls, all the extras. Because, man, you have to. She ordered I think she ordered 7 rolls. I was like, good God, woman. I cannot eat this much rolls. And there's 2 of us. I don't know. There's part of me is like, could I date a girl? Like, what I did? I have. I'm not saying I won't, but all my girlfriends are very good at that. Like, one was a pastry chef, so we were really in tune. Like, we would go. She could eat anywhere. I was like, all right. And actually, what I missed the most about dating her was that we would go get wings. And for many years, I was always a big drumstick fan for wings, right? Chicken wings. The 2-bone part, I didn't really want to eat that, right? I'd eat those first because I wanted to get to the drumettes, right? But this woman, she loved the other part. And she was like, this is my favorite. It's like, so whenever we went somewhere, we could order 20 wings. She get her half, I get my half. We never had any issues. Highly simpatico in that respect. And I had another girlfriend who was also kind of awesome because, I remember one time we were I took her to eat at this place in Paris. We went to a place called Pierre Garnier. I'd met Pierre the year before, so I was like, no, we're going to be in Paris. Let's go have lunch at his place. And, I wasn't sure if she would, respond well to it. I was like, she was always open to try just about anything. But, now we're so we're going from, nice eateries here. I don't know, where would we go? Nice places, but not nice places, right? And now we're going to nice places on an international scale, right? So I was kind of wondering how she'd respond. Like, nah, this is like tasting menus and things like that. And I remember like, well, I'm sitting there. I was like, so I don't know if I remember I don't remember if I asked her what she thought or she just told me what she was thinking. She was like, we got to a certain course. We're about 3/4 of the way through the meal, and she was like, you know what? They're messing with us. I was like, what do you mean? And she went to describe what they were doing and like how they were like, how they were like giving these different foods with these different contrasts. And it was kind of like, she was like, they're messing with us. And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, that was the most sexiest thing you could have ever said to me. I was like, I'm in love with you. I was like, I'm in love with you today and forever. Would you like to get married? But yeah. So I don't know, like but actually, I wouldn't mind if someone didn't like something, I'd be fine with it. I think it's just the ones I have trouble with are the ones that don't or are unwilling to try. Like that one girlfriend, she would try anything. She'd be like, she may not have known a wide range of foods when we first started dating, but she was game for anything. And I was like, and if some things I don't think she liked, which is fine. Like if you don't like it, as long as you want to try it. But I know people that won't even try things. They're like, oh no, that looks disgusting. Have you tried it? No. How do you know? I'm the kind of person that wants to put it in my mouth and then decide if I think it's disgusting or not. Power says in Japan, 35,000 yen for sushi is a lot. Yes. I mean, I was getting like 12, 13 portion nigiri platters with soup and a barley tea for like $11 at Sushi Zanmai when I was there last. I was like, I like went there 4 times because I was like, I don't want to look for a place. I don't want to like take too much time. Let me just go to the Sushi Zanmai. They've got good enough sushi and it's cheap. I'd spend at least $40, $50 for that here in America. The nicest form of sushi are nigiri, gunkanmaki, and temaki. I like the temaki. That's usually my starter, and that's very American. I'll go to some place and I'll be like, can I have a spicy tuna temaki hand roll? And I'm always waiting, like, are they going to bring it right away, or are they going to hold it until they bring the rest of the meal? Those who are not familiar, the temaki is the cone sushi, right? So you make a cone out of the nigiri, out of the nori, the seaweed, and then you put the warm rice in, and then you put the fish with it, and then whatever condiments you put with it, like maybe some cucumber, whatever the case may be. But the key is that you're wrapping it with this fresh, crispy nori that you want it to be crisp. So you want to eat it right away. You don't want to wait. The more you wait, the more the transfer and the steam and the heat and the moisture from the rice makes the nori rubbery. So what you want is to have that be all crispy when you bite into it. And man, so many places like here in America, you're like, oh God, just bring it right away, for God's sake. Like, I don't know why I'm even ordering, but I kind of like it. Nobody says that's a shame. People are used to what they know, and sometimes fresh and top tier is just too much for the palate. I think you have to work your way to it. Like you just can't. I don't think anyone's really well served by going from, like, let's say their idea. Let's say someone their experience has been like, man, Outback is awesome, and then like Fogo de Chão is like a crazy experience. Like, oh my God, Fogo de Chão is amazing. And then you take them to something like, like omakase or like, Michelin star level. Man, I think that's going to be a hard, I think it's a hard leap for anyone to make. It's a difficult leap. Our plant says inside out rolls are the lowest form of sushi and most common. That's funny. My common misconception, says Power Plant, is sushi is freshness. Where'd it go? Many of the hikarimono and akamono are aged for several days rather than served fresh. I hear you always put age in a different category. I also no longer partake. So do I even remember what it tastes like? There's a question. Prabhupada says, the Americans who went to the omakase said they did not even try several of the plates, including the unkimo. Oh, that's a shame. Well, that's a shame. Like, especially when you spend all this money. And I'm sure the sushi guy was all insulted by that. You're like, you're not going to eat my food? You came here, you're not going to try the damn food? Just put it in your mouth, for God's sake. You flew halfway around the world. You're here on the other side of the planet. You're not even going to eat that damn food. The Americans who said who want to say did not. Oh yeah, my husband is one of those people who is reluctant to try something he hasn't had or doesn't recognize. Me switching to a vegan diet has put him through the ringer. Well, he should. Maybe had he been the kind of guy that would try just about anything, maybe you wouldn't have become vegan, and he wouldn't have to go through much more pain. But c'est la vie, c'est la vie. It is temaki hand and maki roll. If you really want to impress sushi people, you need to talk about the appreciation of the shari and su. Those are things that I don't know about. I just go out and eat. That's really my thing when it comes to sushi. It's like, all right. And plus, I live in Baltimore. There's no good sushi here. Like, everyone is just average. And you know, what do people like for sushi here? They want it to be big, right? Like, one of my friends owns a bunch of sushi restaurants. And his nigiri are big. Like they cut the fish big, they roll the ball big. I'm like for your value for your money, I guess it's pretty good. Like it's not bad. I'll go there and eat that. But I want the balance. The balance is what I want. There's none of that here. But it used to be so bad that the only place that I would get very nice, that would actually get nice sushi, would be at that place in West Seattle. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a place in West Seattle. That's always been very good. Kind of like funky, owned by a Japanese guy. And that's the thing. Here in Maryland, in Baltimore, you go to sushi joint, it's all owned by Chinese. Not to say the Chinese can't do it well, but they just don't have the same approach. And my cousin's been telling me about this Japanese market here in Timonium. He's like, have you been to that place, Yama Market? It's like, no. You should go there. And honestly, I'm a little bit sketch of his recommendations. God, he probably watches and be like, oh, dick. But I'm a little bit sketch, right? I'm like, I don't know about that. But I thought I'll go try it. So I went there one day and I walked in and they a small market, right? Small selection of Japanese, like grocery products, Nice enough Chinese girl working the register. And I see her like, oh, Chinese girl. So in my mind, I'm like, oh man, Chinese. So Chinese owned. But I'm looking because there's a Japanese market in my area. Like, I can't believe it. Like, it's unbelievable to me. So I want to do everything I can to support them to do well. So I look around, pick up a couple of items. There's nothing that I really need at the moment. So I just picked up like a bag of like cereals. Like, oh, my cereal's here. Okay, good. I don't have to drive to like Rockville anymore. Perfect. And then I go to check out. I guess the owner walks from the kitchen. Oh, he's Japanese. Like, he looks Japanese. Just go, all right. You the owner? Okay. Excellent. Then I think if things are good, then things are good. Prabhupada says, and the type on is a type of Hokkaido monkfish, and kimo is the liver. Oh, yeah, I have not had that. Yeah, nobody does that here. At least as far as I know. There's a theme restaurant near where I live called Sanzoku. Sun is a mountain, and Zoku is like the bandit. Kaizoku is pirate. Oh, Kaizoku. I remember that. The place serves everything giant size, including rice balls. Oh, nice. But I do think, so I'm not against a big thing, right? But I think it's like, I talk about this with my friends here, like, or my Filipino friends, and we talk about like, where should we go eat? And like, especially with my friends who've been traveling, especially those who go to the Philippines and Manila specifically and go out to eat there, then we have more context to speak about than my other Filipino friends who never left America. And, when you go to Filipino restaurants here in the United States, especially modern, the favorite ones, like you go there and they're like, getting like all these accolades and all the hipsters love them, all the like, everybody loves them. And I go there and I'm like eating. And I'm like, what is this? What is this, right? Like, it just doesn't appeal to me. And there's a part of me that's like, okay, it doesn't appeal to me. And I'm the worst kind of client because I'm Filipino. I'm culturally immersed in this food. I will always compare it to what my mom made. So maybe I'm the worst person for it. But then if I think about it, if I think about restaurants that I've been to, like in Manila or in the Philippines, that I guess you could call like fusion-y restaurants or nouvelle Filipino like restaurants with different interpretations of the food. It's different. It's better. Like, it's something that feels gutturally like, oh yeah. Whereas I go to these places here in America and I don't have that reaction. And a lot of these places are run by people like me, guys that grew up in America with the cuisine, with the culture, but they're making food. But I think there's something about not being immersed in our culture and our cuisine in the way that they are there that just gives them a path that what they're doing just seems more like, do you get what I'm saying? Like when you eat something really great, it's a guttural, like it's in your soul kind of feeling, right? Like, you're like, oh, that's really good, right? I don't get that at the restaurants here. Some of the restaurants I go to there, I get that. I don't know if that totally explained my thoughts on this, but kaizoku, that's what I remember. I will be kaizoku. No more ninja. Kaizoku, I like that better. Andrew says, so how would today's Turkish coffee pair with sushi? Ooh. The problem with the Turkish coffee, there's just not enough of it. Right? Like, I can't even finish these because it's not enough. But that's fine, because I'll make some tea later and have it with that to give it a comparison. But, and what is today's Turkish? The Turkish, just like, I could have looked for this box. I have a box somewhere here of Turkish coffee from Kuru Kahveci, right? But, you can make Turkish coffee or this style of coffee with any coffee. Like, Turgay, the guy who won the world championship, he used like Ethiopian coffees. You can use any coffee you want. So just use any coffee you want. So like right now, for today, I used the espresso that we were using yesterday. I just used the espresso grinder because you really want fine grind for your Turkish coffee. And most coffee mills, or at least most Western style coffee machines like the Ode, will not get that fine. I mean, maybe we'd probably recalibrate and take it apart and reset it. Could work, but for the most part, they don't. So most people who make Turkish coffee use those brass coffee mills. But I thought, it's close to espresso. Let's just use espresso grind. I didn't change anything. It's still the same experience. So easy ways to make it. Sometimes I wonder if we may let ourselves get too wrapped up in the process. Like, oh, if I'm going to make Turkish coffee, I must have this. I must have that. Like this brewer. I mean, this is a nice brewer. Like, I've used a couple different brewers. This is awesome. This one's worth it. Like, I would definitely recommend spending the extra money at STC to buy this one because it's heavyweight. It's got good, so the heaviness means it holds the heat better. It also builds heat better instead of being so thin that it just transfers it too fast. So I think this is worth getting. Doing this setup of getting sand and putting it in a pan and heating on your stovetop, that's for the crazy people. Don't do that. Don't be one of those people. Don't do that. Papan says, you go to any Japanese market, you can grab some haichu and ramune. Never feel bad. The haichu's over. It's always good. I try not to buy those things. Really, what I want to get here's two things I want to get at the Japanese market on almost every trip. Shokupan, which is the bread, and frugra kalbi cereal. Actually, that's pretty much the only cereal that I eat is the frugra. Ever since I found it, 15 years ago, I was like, oh my God. Like on my first trip to Japan in modern times was in 2013, I think it was. And I was like, I think I was at the Konbini downstairs in my hotel, and I was like, what is this? Oh, look at this. Because I was cheap. I'm cheap when I travel, right? Like I don't like to go out for breakfast normally. So if I'm in Tokyo, I'm like, I'll go to the Konbini, like I'm at the Family Mart. I'm like, okay, there's a bag. Here's a bag of cereal, and there's some Meiji milk. I'm going to buy those two, keep them in my fridge at the room, and then in the morning, I'm going to eat that and then go. And that's when I was, oh my God, man. And that Meiji milk. So, I mean, a lot of it's like, we talk about like things like this where people say they go to Italy, they're like, oh, the espresso is so wonderful. I'm sitting there in Tokyo in my little teeny tiny hotel room. I'm it's teeny. It's like this. You're like sitting there like this. And I'm eating this cereal with this Meiji milk, this little tiny bottle of Meiji milk. And I'm like, oh, it's the best milk ever. Is it the best milk ever? It might be. I mean, I'm sure it's high quality milk. It's fine milk. But is it really that great? Because or maybe I'm just in Japan. I'm like, I'm eating my great cereal in this teeny tiny room. I don't know. I don't know how much that plays into it. Does the Philippines have a meat on wooden skewers? Not say yes, absolutely. We have something we call it barbecue. So typically pork that is marinated and then grilled. Oh, man, you get a good one. It's so good. So good. Power Plant says one of my favorite meats on wooden skewers is the Xinjiang lamb skewers. Tons of coarse cracked cumin seeds and star anise. One of the better foods. Oh man, that does sound good. There's a place that opened recently here in Ellicott City, Maryland. Xi'an. I forgot the name of what it's called, but I just saw it. One day I was looking through Google Maps. I was like, oh God. I went straight, like I was in the air. I was like, I'm going there. So I went there. Actually, I love that. With the hand-pulled noodles. Oh, man. Nemo says, I've never had that cereal. Man, I don't know. I just love it. Like, there's different versions of it. There's the red bag. Then there's the white bag, low sugar. And then there's like seasonal, one that's kind of like a brown orange bag. Don't buy any of those. Those are terrible. Like, I don't know. With the low sugar, I hate the low sugar one. Like, I hate it. And then the brown one, I hate that one too. It's like, give me the one with the high sugar. And it's Japanese high sugar. It's not like American sugar, right? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Power Plant says the milk in Japan has more fat than in Western milk. And it is better. It is way better. Is the Meiji milk in a glass bottle? Because yes, it's great. The Meiji milk that I would get, because in Tokyo, I'm at the Konbini. I'm buying it by like the pint. Not the pint. Yeah, the pint. The quart. Maybe by the quart. 300 mils. Maybe 300 mils. Maybe 400 mils. Just a little bottle like that. It's actually a white cart. White cart's in blue letter. Blue, like... The one I like is 4.75. Oh, man. Is that how they're getting 4.5? No wonder it's so good. Man, 4.5%. We're like 3.5% here in America. Sadly, the Meiji in glass bottles is phasing out. Man, I need to go back and get some of that. I should call my cousin right now. My cousin's touring around Osaka at the moment. I was like, I messaged her. I was like, can you go by this store and buy me a hammer? Did I tell you this yesterday? I might have said this, but I was like, she goes, what? A hammer? I was like, yeah, I need a hammer. Can you give me a hammer? 375 grams, please. So hopefully she's come through. I don't know. She asked me for a cutting board for Christmas. So will I get the hammer? Will he get a cutting board? I don't know. 1 liter is how milk is sold. Okay, must have been a liter then. Must have been a liter. Naomi says, when I was 10, we used to get milk delivered in small glass bottles along with Yakult. Ooh, Yakult. I never grew up eating Yakult. Like, we would eat it once in a while. Like, we get it at the store, at the Asian market once in a while. Because, especially when I was young, Asian markets were like few and far between. Now you can get them all the time. I see the kids now, and they all like hanging out, and there's a whole like world of like Asian scene. And like, what is going on here? Like, this is not the Baltimore that I grew up in. The Yakult ladies are still around. Oh, nice. They drive around little Yakult mobiles during delivery. That's brilliant. That's what I need to be doing, calling someone to deliver me some Yakult. All right, well, so there it is. Turkish Delight, Turkish Coffee, Burning Sands. Don't know the difference. All right. Yeah. So hope that gives some insight. I'm going to hit it now because it's 11 o'clock and I've got to go see my PCP soon. So hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening or night, wherever you are in the world. And I'll be back again tomorrow with more of the coffee Q&A. So, yeah. All right. Oops. Until next time, have a great one.